You're a fucking creep.
I contemplate about how I feel, but you make it way too hard to think.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about a Twitter post that I seen. Basically it is a conversation between a boy, a guy and a gal, okay, via Instagram DM, and it escalates a little bit. Okay, so the DM messages start and the guy asks the girl if he can add her on Snapchat. So I'll read it and then I'll also put it somewhere. Let me scooch over so we can put it right here. Okay, it says, "May I add you on Snapchat, please?" The woman responds, "No thank you, I don't know you." He responds, "Gee, could have told you that one, but that's all you get to know, people. If you talk to him, see what happens, but whatever, don't fucking message me back if you want to be like this. I thought you'd be a cool person to get to know, but not with your bitchy attitude right now." There's like hella, it's very interesting too, because he kind of is like censoring his cussing, which I think is interesting. Moving forward, he also says, "Good luck finding whoever you're going to date, but it's not me. That's the reason I want to add you on Snapchat to talk. But whatever, I asked too much already." He continues, I'll back either forget it, okay? I'm going to be like a girl now. You're a fucking creep." So this is him responding to her. I'm assuming how women respond to him, which it gets alarming, okay? Woman responds, "LOL, okay." And he responds, "You're psychotic. You need help. Leave me the hell alone. You freaking creep. Like seriously, no one wants to talk to you. Weirdo. So please stop messaging me. You're just a creep." And then she replies, "Okay, then stop messaging me. Seriously, I told you to leave me the hell alone. You don't listen." Their grammar is a little bit iffy too. "Listen, you seriously need some help. I told you leaving how long. You're freaking creepy. You're old. Look like you're 90 years old. So leave me the fuck alone. You psychotic lady. Seriously, go see a therapist or go to the state hospital because it looks like you've done a lot of drugs in your day." And then she replies, "All right then." And then that's the end of the message thread, or from what we can see. And y'all, let me center myself again. And y'all, this is pretty wild. I feel like it's very crazy how people in general, I won't say men, because I've seen women respond a little oddly to rejection too. But this is just weird. It's just weird, okay? I try to refrain from using words like weird and crazy, but it's just what it is. I don't know what else to say. It's weird and crazy. I don't know. I think that it's odd that he responded so aggressively just from her saying that she didn't want to add him on Snapchat. Now, I've seen this before, and I've actually had interactions like this with men, like out in the world, like in public, which is honestly very scary. It's like, I feel like both men and women, they, thems, everybody has a problem with rejection. Some people internalize rejection, meaning if somebody rejects them for whatever reason, they kind of take it out on themselves or feel like that there's something wrong with them, which is why I feel like I see a lot of women in shit relationships, and some men too, where they're being taken advantage of and stuff because their self-esteem is so low from being rejected that like any sort of attention that they get from their partner is the bee's knees, which is sad as fuck. And then you have people that respond to rejection in the most aggressive ways. You have men killing women. You have women that drive from Texas to Arizona because they found out their husband had an affair. You know, driving to kill her husband and his mistress. That's actually a real story that happened some time ago. Old girl wore an adult diaper and went and left. You know what I mean? I feel like the circumstance is different. Like, point blank, you shouldn't be killing anybody, okay? What I'm saying is, whenever it's like a long-term relationship and stuff, you have expectations that that person is not gonna cheat on you, or you have expectations that that person's not gonna let you down in that way. But like, to not add somebody on Snapchat and have such an aggressive response is insane. And I've seen this like out and about or in public and stuff too. It's like, as soon as you let a guy know, or if a guy were to approach you and you're like, hey, I'm not interested, it's like a complete 180. In some cases, I've also experienced cases where the dude is like completely understanding and completely chill, and it doesn't turn into this whole ass issue. It doesn't turn into this big ass thing. You know what I mean? It's like, for example, I was approached by a guy, and he was like super chill off bat. I wasn't interested just because I'm socially awkward. I don't really like talking to people like that, like, or interacting with people like that. So I was just like, oh, you know, no thank you. And he was literally so chill. He was like, okay. He was like, no worries at all. Enjoy the rest of your night. And that was the end of the conversation. And I feel like that's how everybody should go into approaching somebody. Be prepared for either outcome, because either way, you're gonna be fine. Like, it's literally gonna be okay. And the fact that women were responding to him, telling him that he needs to like seek mental health, is very telling. It's very telling, you know? And I've seen it where some people handle it better than others, or handle rejection or handle disappointment better than others. Like, what's that show with Steve Carell, The Patient? There's a patient. Steve Carell plays a therapist. His patient is a serial killer, okay? But he doesn't find that out until his patient kidnaps him, has him locked in his basement, and then forces him to give him therapy sessions. And so we basically find out that he kills people over like what maybe an average person would consider maybe an annoying person, somebody that's annoying, maybe frustration, if you feel frustration towards somebody. But this motherfucker actually goes out and kills them, instead of just being like, oh, that person was an asshole, and just leaving it at that. So I wonder if it is more of like a psychological thing, or if it is like a mental thing that causes people to behave in certain ways, and if it could just be anybody that just like mentally snaps or something. I don't know. I've seen the more harmless ones too, where like a guy would approach and he would, like, a girl would be like, oh, you know, no thank you, and he's like, well, you're ugly anyways, or like some shit like that. Like, that's definitely happened to me before, where it's just like, okay, I'm not interested, and then the response is like as if I fucking I don't know, did some foul shit. But it's like in case there's instances where it's like you can be as nice as possible, you can be as chill as possible, and that person's response can still be so unpredictable. It's very nerve-wracking. And I feel like that's where a lot of guys get discouraged and stuff, because it's like, if you have somebody like a girl who's just like not necessarily creeped out by men in general, but just off rip or hesitant when it comes to interacting with strangers, and you've responded in a way that's just like, okay, no thank you, I'm interested, or that's a little bit timid, it's the end of the fucking world. And I feel like what guys need to take in consideration is like, okay, like, I'm a stranger, you know, people have a tendency to kill other people. People have a tendency to kidnap other people. People have a tendency to like be shitty to other people. So if she responds in a way that feels timid or a little bit standoffish, don't take that as a reflection of who you are as a person, unless you're flat out being a creep. Like, you know what I mean? If you're like coming up and you're just like, hello, my name's da 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 da, and I think you're very pretty, and I don't know how guys ask girls out. This is like, I feel like I'm doing a really bad job. But let's say you're just an average guy, like, I don't mean like as far as physical appearance, you're just a regular person. You're not a serial killer. You're not a fucking serial killer. You're not a crazy person, and you approach a girl and her response seems very timid and uninterested. Take it with a grain of salt, because like, I'm telling y'all, it's crazy out here, okay? And I feel like that's the issue, is that people get so defensive when you're not interested, and their response is very much alarming. And it's like, I get it, you know what I mean? I get it. It's very awkward. It can be very discouraging. It can be very uncomfortable to approach someone trying to get a number or trying to have like that type of interaction, and they essentially like, you know, turn you down. Like, that could be very discouraging and uncomfortable and awkward. Trust me, I know. I once in 6th grade wrote a love letter to a crush and snuck it in this man's backpack. Weird ass thing to do. I know this now as a grown woman, but at the time I wasn't more of an outburst. I like kind of internalized the rejection, because when I tell you that boy avoided me my whole entire middle school careers, I was devastated. I was like, I'm just not even gonna talk to boys anymore. That's it. I'm you know what I mean? But really, it shouldn't even have been the response, you know? The response is like, okay, that person is uninterested. That doesn't say anything about who I am as a person. I shouldn't hold that against them for any reason, because it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't be this huge ass thing where you put yourself in a position of popping off on somebody, or even putting yourself in a position of internalizing that rejection and then being insecure as fuck, because that's just not good for anybody, especially you. I feel like as a whole, as a unit, we should normalize rejection, and we should normalize people not liking us. Now, normalize in like a certain type of way. Like, if you're a flat out asshole and you wonder why people don't like you, then that's one thing. But if you're just a regular person and somebody is bothered by you, that's kind of their business, you know what I mean? Or they don't want anything to do with you. That is literally their business. That has nothing to do with us. Let them do them, you do you. It shouldn't be this thing that you hold on to and, you know, project onto other people. You see what I'm saying? Because clearly he's had such a shit response from other women where, you know, I have seen instances too where a woman could be overreacting to something. I'm not saying that in all cases, but y'all remember that one girl, that lady in the gym, and she was like, she took off her shirt, which I've seen people do. You know, you get hot and stuff, you take your shirt off, and there was one of the trainers in the back that wasn't really checking for her, and she was like, is there a problem?
When I stand up for myself, he threatens to call the police and revoke my membership.
You need something? Do you need something? Do you need something? Do you need something? Do you need something? Okay, I thought so.
Is there an issue? And like, my thing is like, if somebody looks, that's one thing. If you're a hottie and a bad bitch and you're getting looked at, that's normal, you know what I mean? But I can see if they had approached her or something. Basically, her response was like way out of pocket. So just seeing that alone wouldn't surprise me if there were women that did pop off. Like, if a guy's like, hey, you know, it's nice to meet you, and she's like, you're a fucking creep. Like, to me, that wouldn't surprise me if those situations actually did happen. But read a room, my guy. Like, he took the girl not wanting to add him on Snapchat and then projected other responses he got from other women. And it's like, she innocently told him, I don't know you, I don't want to add you on my Snapchat. Very upfront, very forward, and just to the point, very clear, and a very mature response. She didn't say anything about him looking 90 years old. She didn't say any of these crazy things that he like put onto her. Like, and he took what women said to him previously and projected it onto her in their interaction, instead of just being like, okay, that's perfectly valid, I totally understand, it's literally okay, like, we can continue talking on here if you're comfortable. If not, then that's it. Like, I'm not gonna bug you about it anymore. It goes both ways. It goes for everybody. You shouldn't take previous situations that you've had and then project it onto new people that simply don't want to add you on Snapchat. And I feel like that's why we need to learn how to handle rejection better. there have been times that like I didn't handle rejection so well, like as I've mentioned before, like even as an adult, you know what I mean? It happens. I don't go around like doing this shit, of course, but you know, I can understand how it can be a little discouraging and how it can have an impact on how you view yourself. But at the same fucking time, like I said, it's one of those things. Like there are times where I need to remind myself where it's like, or there have been times I'm like in a relationship, so but like there have been times where I need to remind myself like, okay, if that person's not into me, it doesn't have to be this huge ass thing. There's no reason that I need to be shit talking this person. There's no reason that I need to be responding in a way that's extremely negative. It could just be okay, and it is what it is, like a neutral situation. Like yeah, it may be disappointing that this person doesn't see me in that way, but at the same time, you know, I appreciate somebody being straightforward. She was very straightforward with him. I don't understand the response. I really just don't. But that being said, I think we can all do a little bit better in not jumping the gun too quick when it comes to people, you know, not wanting to fuck us. It's not that deep. It isn't that deep. I gotta say it's not that deep. And to have that sort of entitlement where it's like, oh, they're supposed to like me and they're supposed to, you sound fucking ridiculous, my guy. Like, dude sounds ridiculous. And yeah, like there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with people not liking you. It's a super realistic way of viewing things. And I feel like that's where I challenge myself in certain instances of not thinking so emotional sometimes and like really thinking logically, just off of logic. And I'm telling you, that will take you so far. That's it. That's all you gotta do. Instead of viewing it as like, oh, all women are this, that, and the third. It's like, okay, you've probably had some shitty interactions with women, but you can't hold all women accountable for some bad interactions that you had. Because realistically, scientifically, the probability of there being shitty women is just as much as there being a probability of there being good women. And same with men too. Like, it's just up in the air. So I feel like you shouldn't hold anything against anybody if they don't want to fuck with you. But yes, that's all I have for you today. I hope you have an amazing Friday. I hope you have an amazing weekend. And I'll catch y'all on the flip side. Or the flop side. I don't know. Okay, I'm kidding. Okay, bye-bye for real. Bye.